Saludos and salutations, Broncos country, and welcome back into another exciting episode of Broncos Talk. And ladies and gentlemen, we have got a banger for you guys tonight. Guys, it is finally time. After so much waiting, all the training camp, all the offseason, the draft, free agency, all of that good stuff, finally behind us, ladies and gentlemen, this coming Friday in 2 days' time, as we inch so much closer to the start of the Broncos regular season. First, we have to go through the preseason. And ladies and gentlemen, those Atlanta Falcons are in for a hell of a time. Libre and I are so excited to talk to you guys about everything that we expect to see, hear, and feel for this preseason game coming up this Friday, the 14th of August. So, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure your food is warm, your beer is cold, that you are not going to want to miss a single episode of today's show. And let me just say, ladies and gentlemen, if you have your significant other and you have not turned in your form of saying, hey, for the next couple Sundays and Mondays and even Thursdays and Fridays, because football is starting to get sprinkled around more than usual this time around, you are not going to be available for certain couple activities. I suggest you guys get on it right now, get ahead of the time. Don't wait until later or at the last minute, because then you could be in some pretty hot water. And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adan Diaz, and joining me to my left or right, depending on which direction you're watching, is my co-host, the one, the only, the incredible, the Bronco Libre. You're muted, Libre.
No, I'm not. What's happening? Because I was talking to my TikTok fam. What's happening?
I was about to say, I think you got to do the intro again, bro, because that's the best part of the show.
Let's go.
Bronco Libre.
What's happening? Let's go. Hey, guess what Friday is? What is Friday? It is officially the NFL season is actually back, with the Broncos playing on Friday and other teams playing starting tomorrow. But guess what? Football is officially back. Let's go.
It's also payday for some of us, Libre, so
not all of us.
But ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. As I said just a few seconds ago at the start of today's show, preseason is finally here, and we are finally going to see some football. And if you guys saw the Hall of Fame game last week, whoo, they put on a hell of a show, Libre, especially for a bunch of players trying to make a roster spot in a couple of weeks. So it was really came down to the wire. So shout out to those guys for putting on a hell of a show. I will say I am a little bit jealous that they got an extra preseason game in. So that's why the Hall of Fame game adds a little bit more worth as to being one of the two teams eligible to play, because you have an extra day or week, I should say, to get some reps in, whereas everybody only has 3. The bye week for me still seems a little bit weird. You know, that 1 week in where there's no football, no preseason, no nothing. It's just training camp videos for that entire week until the following week when the kickoff season starts. But we are almost there, ladies and gentlemen. And before we get started, we have a couple things we have to get out of the way, just like we do at the start of every single show. So please bear with us. If this is your first time in, welcome in. If not, welcome back. First, Libre and I would like to ask you guys if you could share, show your support for us by sharing, subscribing on the Orange and Blue Network, commenting, and liking this video If there's anything you guys hear us say that you agree or don't agree with, please feel free to hit us up if you're not able to join us live during the live stream. And Libra and I will be more than happy to get back to you and answer your questions ASAP. Please don't feel shy to ask us anything that's on your mind. We are always happy and ready to share with you guys our Broncos knowledge, and we'd like to hear back from you. Also, subscribing to the network and sharing helps us get the word out to Broncos country that we are here. And we're not going anywhere. For any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. Audio listeners, regardless of what platform you're listening us to, please, 5-star reviews are much appreciated. And if you'd like to send us a screenshot of your review to our Twitter handles that you see there at the bottom, Libre and I will be more than happy to read them out loud out on the air and show you us as a way of showing gratitude and thanks for that wonderful notion. Our Twitter handles are right there at the bottom. As I said, my Twitter handle is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280. Very easy to remember, hard to forget. Guys, today's show is sponsored by W. If you didn't know what W is, it's basically got no sugar, no calories, no maltodextrin, no fillers, no artificial colors. It's formulated with nothing but amino acids, B vitamins, and nootropics, which is part of their patented neurofactor nootropic, and the caffeine is derived directly from the coffee fruit. And to show you guys just how awesome W is, if you guys use the code OBN10, you'll get 10% off your order at checkout. Again, that code is OBN10 to get your 10% off your order at checkout. Shout out to everybody at W for being a sponsor of this and all of the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network. Also, ladies and gentlemen, we are also sponsored by Lily's Beauty Salon, located at 11776 Kearney Way in Thornton, Colorado. 80233 is the area code. Their business hours are Monday and Tuesdays are closed, but Wednesdays and Saturdays from 9:30 a.m. to 7:30 they're open, and Sundays 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you want to get your own appointment and get yourself looking right and tight, contact Lily at 720-210-7996. Please keep in mind it's appointment only. That number again is 720-210-7996. And Libre, what's that nice tagline we like to use for Lily's Beauty Salon?
You know, if you don't have the proper fade, she'll give you the freshest fade out there.
Get yourself looking your very best at Lily's Beauty Salon. And thank you, Lily, for being a continued sponsor of this and all the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network as well. And guys, in case you haven't heard, we have a giveaway alert. Ladies and gentlemen, when the Orange and Blue Network reaches 1,000 subs on YouTube, they will be giving away a signed Nick Bonito mini helmet. Again, that is a signed Nick Bonito mini helmet. And all you have to do to enter is follow Orange and Blue Network and leave your YouTube profile on public. If it is on private, they will not be able to reach out to you if you are the selected random winner. So all you have to do is follow this network and leave your YouTube profile on public, and you will be automatically entered into a chance to win a signed Nick Bonito helmet. And guys, when I tell you that Libre and I are so jealous that we cannot be a part of this, I'm just glad I'm not going to be the one that has to hand it over, because I don't know if I could, Libre.
You're right. Like, I'm the same way. I already told Baki that he should just give it to me and we're good to go.
Exactly. So again, when this network reaches 1,000 subscribers, all you have to do is follow us on the Orange and Blue Network and make your YouTube profile public to enter for a chance to win a personalized Nick Bonito mini helmet. And our show schedule going forward, ladies and gentlemen, on Mondays and Fridays at 11 a.m. These are all Mountain Times, by the way. We have the Orange and Blue Blitz. On Mondays at 7, we have the Broncos Bros, because do you even Bronco Bro? You know what I'm saying? Tuesdays at 7:30, we have the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast, which is the flagship show. Wednesdays at 2:30 p.m. before we go live at 6, we have the Mahai Symposium for those of you that are Nuggets, Rockies, and Avalanche fans. They got you covered with all Denver sports. Thursdays at 7, we have the Mahai Outcast podcast coming to you live. And then Fridays, starting on the 28th of August, in 2 weeks' time, Viva Los Broncos officially returns back on the air at 6 p.m. And we cannot wait to be bringing that back with you. We have missed our Latino community. Fresh Squeeze comes live to you every single breaking news, so make sure you hit that live notification button every time if you want to be notified of anything that's going on in Broncos country. And we have the Wild Wild West podcast that airs at 8 p.m. Mountain time on, is it Mountain? Or I think it's 7. Sorry, it's 7 Mountain. I keep looking at my time. It's 7 o'clock Mountain time, just after Broncos Talk goes off the air. During the regular season, the Get Buck pregame show comes live before every start of every single game, where the guys come together and talk about everything that's going on in that week's matchup. The Bucking Booth, for those of you that do not have access to the games, they got you covered with all the play-by-play action. And then the Buck Your Feelings postgame show right after, where the guys regroup, talk about the good, the bad, and the Baki, as we like to say, and look forward to next week's matchup.
Whew, it's about time you're done, bro. I had to fill my time here talking with my peeps on TikTok. What's going on?
And shout out to our TikTok audience. Thank you guys so much for watching us. If you guys have any comments.
Zane, he owns an Italian bistro here in Denver. So if you're in Denver, please go out and check out Zane down in South Denver. He says his food is real good. I still haven't gone yet, but I'm going to be going there really soon to try it out. And then I have my friend Tatiana, who used to go into the restaurant that I used to work at BD's Mongolian Grill. She's going to be starting a new show here, a podcast as well, somewhat of a podcast and whatnot, talking about Nuggets Nation. So once we get all that information out, or once I can be able to see that, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to start sharing it out because she is top-notch, huge Nuggets fan. So it's going to be great, especially with the addition of, or the announcement of, the 2 games so far for this year. So can't wait for that. And then I have Mile High Montoya in the comments right now saying, what's happening? Let's go. That's on my TikTok part itself. But talking about comments, let me show you my number 1 fan in the house right now, my baby girl, Yaya. How you doing, girl? Thank you for joining. And then my boy, Bronco Tiz. Oh, that's not Tiz. This wait, where it is? No, there it is.
No, that
yeah.
Tiz.
It's time to whoop on the dirty birds, those Falcons. Hey, it's gonna be the only thing that just was announced today, that Bo is not going to be playing in this game, which is okay. We don't need him to play in this game. I'd rather save him for the home crowd when we're out here itself. So that is the best part. Like, just let him rest another week. Don't need to get out there any game time. We really, truly want to see who's going to be the number 2 quarterback that's going to be coming out of camp. Is it Stiddy or is it going to be Sam? So that's the thing, is that's the real competition right now, at the quarterback competition that we have here in town. So who's going to be there? And then I have my cousin coming in. Primo, what's happening? He goes, what's up, Broncos country? We have Football Friday, but unfortunately, he's not going to be able to watch any of the preseason games, but that's okay, because it's the regular season that really is the most exciting part of it. And you already know that. And he's going to be at the home opener with me as well, with his boy, Beavis.
You guys are going, the home opener. I thought you said the season opener.
No, home opener.
In Kansas City.
Bronco Tiz winning it. There you go.
Exactly.
And here's my other number 1 fan right there. Boo Boo. How you going? How's it going, baby girl? And then our boy, Tim Dog again. What's happening?
It is. And guys, let me just say, and I'm pretty sure we had this conversation last year about preseason games. For those of you that have been longtime listeners of the show, you've already heard me say this before, but I'll say it again in case there's anybody within the sound of my voice that has not heard it. And that's basically just saying that I used to not care for preseason games. I thought they were boring. I thought they were unnecessary. I skip them all the time in Madden. But, obviously playing Madden is a different story, but still. But in reality, they are very much important because they are the ones that help build your backups. And although we don't want to think about what the Broncos would look like with, in a world without Bo Nix or Jaden Waddle, or Patrick Surtain. We kind of got a big dose of it last year in backups, and that's why backups are important. Now, not to get into the whole schematics of everything, but I will still die on the hill where I say that we lost that game not just because of Jarrett Stidham, but because of Sean Payton. His coaching style and his inability to adapt to that second half is what demolished Denver's chances of going to a Super Bowl. However, he gets a chance at redemption by going back to the drawing board and saying, hey, the Broncos need to be ready in case of an emergency. In case a number one goes down again, that's where the preseason games come in. Your rookies that you drafted from college are going to get their first taste of what it means to get hit in the NFL, of what it means to play in the NFL, and they'll only get 3 practice shots at it before the real thing starts in September. So if anybody ever tells you that these games are meaningless and that they don't mean anything because the starters are playing, I suggest you do not listen to them. And if you have time to educate them, even better, Libre. But for me, I think the one thing that I will enjoy the most about this game, Libre, is the fact that the starting quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons is Tua Tagovailoa, a man that 2-3 years ago put a whooping on the Broncos. And that was the catalyst that started and gave us the team that we have today. So he's lucky that he's not facing the number ones, because you can't tell me that those guys wouldn't be chomping at the bit to get out there and get to Tua and, exact a little bit of revenge. But the irony that he went from being a starter to now fighting for a backup spot is very ironic and very rich and very funny to me, Libre. What do you think?
Well, first of all, that's 2 years ago. Tua is a different quarterback. How many concussions later? Like, even if it's the number ones or number twos, he doesn't have that. I don't think he's going to have the actual fortitude of what he's going to be able to, what he did before while he was there in Miami. But I'm not worried about it. I still feel that our second team now is even better than that team from 2 years ago itself. So,
definitely.
Whatever is happening from 2 years ago, this is a completely different team that he faced. So that just was just the catalyst of everything changing, I think, with Broncos country itself. And I see it everywhere that is like the turning point of Broncos country of where we're at today is because of that game. And then here we go. Adon. He's saying, D-Rock is saying, what's up, Adon and Libre? How's it going? And then he's shouting out the chat. What's going on, chat? From Adon or D-Rock. But going back to here with Tiz's comment itself, we don't want Bo playing without a center, which is true. Right now, our centers are hurt right now, and we want to make sure that we're good to go in that aspect of it. And if we have to wait another week, we're waiting another week. So I get that, Tiz. I agree with you 100%. So it's something that we don't need Bo to be out there right now. We know what he's capable of doing. We know he's going to be ready for the KC when we go out there and play them Monday night to start off the season. So even if he plays maybe one series or whatever for the next 2 games here at home, I'm okay with that. Let's see. D-Rock is saying, shout out Tua for coming back and still playing some ball, but the longevity, though, 100%, I agree. And it's just like you're an athlete. You have that mentality that I'm not coming out no matter what. I'm still going to go. And that he's still young, too. He has that mentality that he knows that he can play ball. Like, he thinks he can play ball and all that. Granted, he probably can still play at this high level. But like you're saying, he needs to learn not to rush and how to get tackled and whatnot, and not do some of those dumb plays. Even though, granted, like a couple of those, he was in the pocket and getting slammed down or whatever with those concussions. It's just about learning how to maybe slide, just roll out, get out of bounds or whatever, and not take those necessary hits. Because, his health right now, you never know what longevity is going to happen. CTE is real. It's out there. So it's something that you have to think about your family as well. Like, I know he has. I know at that last concussion that he had while he was in Miami was really bad. So he knows he has to think about that for his family. But I get it. He's a competitor. He wants to be out there. He's making a living for his family. So I get that. I totally understand that. But then there's a point where you just need to say, all right, I've taken enough and let's call it a career. But let's see what he can do. We'll find out on Friday what he's going to be able to do against our second and third players. But going back to what you were saying about the preseason, how it doesn't matter or anything like that. To the starters, you're right. It doesn't. Mm-hmm. To maybe some of the backups, it really doesn't. But it's really coming down to these guys that are on the third, fourth, fifth, sixth spot on the depth chart, which the unofficial depth chart just came out from the Broncos here today as well, which I'm excited. I want to talk about that today as well, so that we can just go through what are our initial thoughts, even though these may not be set in stone, and it's just something that they just have to get something to get out so that we can talk about it, so we can discuss. But these games, though, going back to these preseason games, they're trying to make a team that they're currently on, but it is also the time that they're putting film out there. So if they do get cut, they can sign with another team. They can potentially go out there and get on a practice squad. If it's not here with the Broncos, it's going to be somewhere else on another team, so that they can still continue to get their dream of playing on an NFL team. So they have their foot in the door right now. It's just a matter of time of when they're going to do that, because we all talk about it just recently when the memories came up, all the highlights came up about Terrell Davis. You know, he was a 6th-round draft pick, ready to quit the team, ready to just leave. And the crazy story about it, if you haven't heard, which I know that 99% of Broncos country should already know this, but it was the game in Japan. He was trying to check out and go home, but because of the language barrier, he had to suck it up and stick out there. And he was already checked out at that point. And he talked about it and saying, man, I hate all these hot dogs and all that. So, but when he had that game, the game of his career, really his life, that made him the team with that one tackle off of that kickoff. So this means a lot to a lot of these young players, that if they want to continue their career, these preseason games are really relevant.
Let me just say that I believe that the Falcons are in shambles going into this game, because you have to remember that the moves that the Falcons made the last 2 years did not pay off. The big amount of money that they paid for Kirk Cousins, and they're still paying Kirk Cousins for a quarterback, except he's no longer on the team, and Kirk Cousins is officially a Las Vegas Raiders now. So, and they're not sold very high on Michael Penix. I don't think they are. So them picking up Tua is trying to be kind of like an insurance policy. And not to say that he would play if Michael Penix gets hurt, but I would say that Tua could come in and he could be the starter, especially if he looks like he's ready to take over the reins as the starter in the preseason. Again, you have to realize that the preseason, you have to take everything lightly and not try to get ahead of everything, because especially in Broncos country, we do it every season. Especially if the Broncos lose a preseason game, we think it's over. Hey, so long Super Bowl. Hello, number 1 draft pick. Like, we have to remember not to get that dramatic. Okay, it's better that if anything bad happens, we see it now instead of seeing it during the regular season. That's what preseason is all about. Okay. On the other hand, I think that the Falcons are a whole lot beat up right now. They really are trying to do a lot with what very little they have. Their salary cap is got to be probably not one of the best in the league, I would just say. So I really do hope that we see what the Broncos did over. And the Broncos have a lot to prove, if I'm being honest with you, Lieber, because you got to remember, we were the only team out of the NFL that didn't, hit the ground running when free agency started. All you heard the Broncos do was re-sign. They re-signed a lot of players, and they're like, hey, we're confident in our team from last year, and we're going to put all our chips in the table, per se, and go all in and say, hey, we can do it again. So I'm really excited to see what Davis Webb can do, and hopefully we see his play style out there. I am excited to see battle between Sam Ellinger and Jarrett Stidham. I think for the first time in a long time, Jarrett Stidham has got. I think I would say he's a little worried, Libre, because this wasn't like when he got to Denver, where it was like the second string position was guaranteed. And, he's really going to want to go out there on all cylinders. He's going to want to put out a show, especially because he feels like he let a lot of Broncos fans down during that championship game back in January. So if he starts, I would say, I would think that maybe they give him one game, Libre, or at least the first half, and then the second half, Sam Ellinger, and, going down that same path for the second preseason game. And then the third one is probably just any of the players that are, on the bubble, because cuts have to be made week 4, and all the teams have to be down to 53-man rosters before the start of the regular season. So I'm really excited. I know you guys in the chat are talking about the Battle of the Jonas. Which one's better, Ellis or versus Coleman? I want to say that Ellis is the better one, and not just because he's a Broncos fan, but because that kid has a lot of heart, Libre, and he really goes out there and he plays his damn best every single time he puts on a helmet.
Like, here we go from D-Rock, Battle of the Jonas, better season if healthy, and then we talk about Ellis or Coleman. Right now, like, you have to think about me and George and Tim Dog were at training camp early when camp opened up to fans, and being able to watch, especially some of the team play itself. I'm gonna let you know, Jonah Ellis has elevated his game this year. Like, just the quickness that he's embodied already during his offseason, coming from offseason from last year to this year, is phenomenal. Like, I'm super excited to see him, and he's gonna kill it. And I don't think teams, offensive linemen, are going to be ready for the amount of speed, the amount of power that he's out there. Being able to see him do that against Garrett Bowles and McGlinchey out there, like, he is going to be underrated, and people are going to be like, where did this guy come from? Like, literally, where did this guy come from? And we have Beavis in the house. What's happening, Beavis?
Hey, I have a quick question. How did he acquire the name Beavis? Is it because of the TV show?
Yes. So, and it goes back with my cousin Juan, because him and Juan are best friends. So back in when they were in school, at that time, back in the 90s, when it was really popular, they just did bonehead stuff. And he's like, all right, Beavis or whatever. And then my cousin got the name of Butthead. And what's funny too is earlier this week, this is hilarious. Earlier this week, I had a friend text me a T-shirt that has Beavis and Butthead riding on a horse, that's saying "Shut up, Beavis," and then whatever Butthead, something with Butthead or whatever. And my friend goes, "Oh, you need this shirt," and I'm like, right away, I copied that and I sent it over to both of them. I said, guys, you need to get this shirt. This fits you guys so well. So, but I think for when they come to the tailgate, they might have some type of custom shirts that are going to be coming out with the Beavis and Butthead, with them uniting itself. So, or even having, I know my cousin talked about getting a custom jersey with the same Butthead, and then Michael getting it where it says Beavis itself. So, which would be awesome. I can't wait to see that for this upcoming year. But just like from talking about earlier, with Tiz saying, hey, we're talking about the next TD. That's what we're wanting to see. Who's that next player that's going to be out there? One play created a legend. That's all that happened. That one play, TD is a legend. Bronco, all-time rusher. One of the greats here in Denver.
Of course.
Let's see. There's Beavis, and then right here, Tim Dog. What wouldn't we have TD without preseason? You're right. Going with that.
I'm telling you, Libre, like Mercedes-Benz Field, don't be surprised if you see a lot of orange and blue jerseys out there, even for a preseason game. I have a feeling that Broncos country is going to show up for this game.
Oh, absolutely. Because we've been jonesing for this because of the disappointment that we had and the way that we exited this last season back in January. Like it's just still heartbreaking. We still, our hearts are broken still. So, and, and of course, Bo ankle was broken. So correlation of his ankle, our hearts. But you know what? We're now back. I know, like, what's crazy about this is that the national narrative is still not putting the damn respect that Bo Nix deserves. The crazy thing about this, JJ McCarthy just got replaced by a midget. I'm just saying, by a midget, he got replaced. Kyler Murray just got the starting job up in Minnesota, which is crazy. They announced it before even playing in one of the preseason games yet. So being able to say that Bo Nix was the worst quarterback in that quarterback class right now, it's not looking like that. If you go back and look at it right now, like you could, the way that they throw the national narrative, he's probably the third best quarterback right now out of that draft. Jaden Daniel. Well, I guess you depending on who you're talking to. He could be the third or fourth because you have Jaden Daniels, you have Caleb Williams, you have Drake May that are all in there. But if you go back and look at the strict numbers, Bo Nix has better numbers than each one of those quarterbacks itself. And they still don't give him the respect because guess what? He plays here for the Denver Broncos. But you know what? He's going to be able to shut that all up when he takes us to the Super Bowl this year and we win it all. Hot take. Set that out right now.
I literally told a coworker yesterday.
Told you.
Gee, I shouldn't have said that. I literally told a coworker yesterday about how pissed off Minnesota must be when it was their turn to pick and they were down to the last two. On one hand, it was JJ McCarthy, and on the other hand was Bo Nix, and how close they came to being not only relevant, but being a contender in the NFC North division that already has Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, and Jared Goff. Three teams that are definitely going to be scrimmaging and fighting for not just the division league, but for a spot in the playoffs. Yeah. So I don't have any faith. I know we're not in the OT segment yet, but while we're on the subject, I have no faith in Minnesota. I am, and to give another hot take out there, I see Minnesota having a fire sale before the deadline because Kyler Murray is not the answer. They took a gamble on JJ McCarthy. Yes, it sucks at their first year. It got, injuries are unfortunately a part of the game, and it sucks that he got injured. I really think that Minnesota is kicking themselves even more for the fact that they did not keep Sam Darnold, because even though Sam Darnold had his quirks, he was trying to do the best with what he had. And the fact that he leaves and goes to Seattle and in that 1 year wins the Super Bowl is so, like, if you looked up the word irony, the definition of it, that Super Bowl would definitely be the definition of it. So they are definitely going to be living in a quote unquote world of suck. I do give credit to Brian Flores for doing what he can with that defense. And there were games last year where that Minnesota defense kept the Vikings in certain games, even won them games that they probably should have lost to Libre. However, I don't think Kyler Murray is the answer. There's a reason why he didn't work out in Arizona with the Cardinals, and he was playing against the Seahawks twice a year, Matt Stafford twice a year, and the 49ers twice a year. So unfortunately, going from the NFC West to the NFC North does him no favors, but he does have Justin Jefferson, to throw to, and Jordan Addison, if he can if he can find them. But going back to this game, I definitely think that the one thing I want to see in this preseason game, Libre, aside from regardless of who throws the football, is the running game. I did see a headline that I think they said that J.K. Dobbins is hurt. I wasn't expecting him to play in this game. Maybe at the most, a couple of reps if he wasn't, in terms of, trying to get him back into NFL shape per se. But I don't see him playing in this game. So I expect to see more from our acquired player, Coleman. I do expect to see a couple of players that may be fighting for a roster spot, Libre. And of course, do you think we'll see RJ Harvey? I think so.
Oh, yeah. Guaranteed we'll see RJ Harvey out there. So, but before we do go, I want to give a huge shout out right now to Bronco Tiz and also Bronco Libre Tailgates. If you go on to Twitter, go to Bronco Libre Tailgates. We have a post that it's a giveaway time. We're giving away a custom cutting board that says 3-time Super Bowl champs with the Broncos logo. And then it has the photo of or the logos of each of the Super Bowls itself. So in order for you to get in on this, you have to go and like Bronco Libre Tailgates, like and retweet the actual post itself, and then tag 2 other tailgate buddies that you have out there. The contest ends Friday at midnight, and the winner will be chosen on the 15th, so this Saturday. So if you can go out there, get in on this custom board itself. Let me see if I can pull it up, because I know I can't pull it up on right now on the web, but there we go. That's the custom cutting board that we're giving out. Well, Bronco Tiz is.
But no, Libre, like the running game is the one, and you did mention the centers. I totally forgot about the centers being injured. Do you happen to know who the starting center for this Friday is off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, I do not, because I know our starter is Luke Waltenberg, but I don't think he's going to play. I still even though he was not practice, if he does, he's going to play maybe a series, and that's it. Let me pull up offensive lineman. So it might be center might be Alex Forsett, and then Michael Ditter are the quote unquote centers right now. So, and again, we don't have the official list of who's actually going to be starting. So
yeah, I think that comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that will come out, whoever might be starting. But yeah, Luke is the official starter, and then Alex Forsett as the backup, and then Michael Dieter.
I also really do hope, the other thing I want to see, Libre, and we touched on this subject a little bit earlier, is the fact that we want to see Sean Payton give Davis Webb control of the offense. So we want to see what Davis Webb can do if he's in a bind, in a pinch, versus what we're going to see what he can do week 1. And unfortunately for us Broncos fans, we have to wait until the end of week 1 for Monday Night Football to see our Broncos play. So the fact that we have to literally enjoy this, because we're going to go almost 2 weeks before a Broncos player touches a football is not cool. It's sad. It hurts. So that's why we have to enjoy this these next 3 weeks. But I really do hope to see Davis Webb. We need to see his ingenuity and see if he can either come up with something different that our Broncos offense has not seen, or improve on something that Sean Payton has ran before that didn't work, but maybe Davis Webb knows how to alternate it or tweak it or what have you. Hopefully we don't see screens that don't go anywhere, Libre, because I think we can all do without that this season.
No, and again, talking about the time between the last preseason game to the beginning of the season, it's by design. You have to remember back before they did this setup as well, they used to have rounds of cuts where they used to cut players during the preseason and then they waited. So now it's more of you play all the games, and then they have certain days to make certain decisions to get down to a certain number of players as well. So it's all by design. Yes, it does suck for us as a fan, but again, it's part of the business itself for the players that are now no longer being cut during camp Well, there's still preseason games, so they just have it at the end, and that's it. But just going back to D-Rock, he's going to go with Ellis when the battle of the Jonah Coleman and Ellis. So he's going to say that.
Ooh.
But then he goes, you can literally see Jonah Ellis playing in a gold jacket. Just saying. That's some high marks right there. And yes, if you could just see just what he's been able to do over these last several years and what I'm able to see just during training camp. Yes, granted, it wasn't in full pads when I went there and saw it, but just the sure speed that he has, he's going to be dangerous opposite Nick Bonito and all that. So it's going to be awesome. I love this already. And Jonathan Cooper, and then Tim Dog coming in saying, watch party, baby. So just so he's referring to as a watch party. Yesterday, some lucky season ticket holders got an email from the Denver Broncos that are going to give us a watch party for the Monday night game versus Kansas City. So we're going to be able to be inside the stadium to be able to watch that game here at Mile High.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Can I come?
Yeah. Just your nephew can't come. I'm just saying.
Well, technically his team is playing Libre, so.
Well, not in our stadium. I'm just saying you can drop him off in KC on your way here. But
now
D-Rock,
sorry.
D-Rock saying when we're talking about the hate about the narrative with Bo hate, he says keep up the Bo hate because that just equals fuel for us. And Bo sees that as well. And that's just going to make him play even that much better.
I think Bronco Tiz has a question for you at the end there, Libre. He says tailgate? Or is that rhetorical?
Yeah, I think so. Not tailgate. It's a watch party for the Monday night game. So, Tiz, let's talk after the show. I don't know if you got the email because I was actually going to reach out to you about it as well. If not, I might have an extra ticket for you if you want it.
We've talked a lot about the offensive side of the ball, Libre, which is fine and dandy, but we have not talked about the defense, and we're already 42 minutes into this show, Libre. So
already?
Yeah. It wouldn't be right if we didn't talk some Broncos defense. Now, as you guys know, Vance Joseph is coming back to coach the defense once again. Now, another hot take, Libre. I feel like this will more than likely be the last season for Vance Joseph, especially if our Broncos can win a championship. I definitely think this will be Vance Joseph last year as a defensive coordinator. I think he's going to go out and try to, take another shot at being a head coach on a team somewhere that absolutely needs a head coach because we always have a team every year that needs one. So I think if I had to guess, Libre, judging from the videos I saw of other teams in training camp, not to get too off topic, but I have a feeling that Vance Joseph will probably go and coach the New York Jets.
Wow. What a hot take that is.
Yeah.
I know they talked about, especially when over the last weekend when Sean Payton was in Canton and he took over the training camp itself, talking about he's ready to go back and do the head coaching job. Again, if he's ready for it, if he feels like he's ready for it to go do it another round, by all means, go ahead. But I think he'll be more selective, I think, this time around as well. Like, does he really want a team that's really dysfunctional? Because you're taking over a team that's bad, first and foremost. You already know you're going to be taking over a bad team. Does he still want that? Is it the real decision? Does he want to win a championship here in Denver? Say we don't win it this year. I say that he stays here. I don't see him leaving Denver if that's the case. If we happen not to win the Super Bowl this year, I think he's going to want to stay here to finish that off and get that done. If we do, that might be the opportunity where he might take it and so forth. And again, that's the same thing like you were talking about Davis Webb. So that might be a possibility that might happen as well. Even though Davis Webb said, you know what, I want to be here in Denver. That's why I took the OC job. And I didn't take any head coaching job at this point. So that is the real question as well. I think Davis Webb is going to be fine, and he's going to be staying here in Denver because this is what he wants. That's part of why he got the play calling duties as well. But again, this could be that 1 year stepping stone, and we come in and win, and he's going to be taken off to another team as well. So we don't know yet until we win it.
I just have one of my TikTok followers say, "Go Chiefs," and then she says, "I don't watch football. LOL. I just Googled your biggest rival."
Well, my cousin is a Chiefs fan from New Mexico.
And my nephew's a Chiefs fan too. So.
And he said, "Puro Chiefs." And I was telling them, "Puro pinche Broncos. Let's go."
Now, to answer Bronco Tiz, he said we talked about plenty about Ellis, which we did, but there are plenty of other things, other players outside of Jonah Ellis that we want to see out there. I am curious to see if the hype around the player that they drafted, the defensive lineman, he's got big shoes to fill, Libre. And we did talk about this earlier in the offseason, especially with the fact that we all knew that JFM was leaving. He took a big contract deal to go play with Tennessee. And, obviously losing PJ Locke in the secondary. So these are two positions that I feel are definitely going to be very important to see going into this preseason, is to see what our second and threes in terms of pass rushing. What is that looking like? Can our boys get to the quarterback, make him uncomfortable? Can our linebackers, when Singleton and what's our other linebacker? Can't think of his name. Can our linebackers get in there? Our secondary, our cornerbacks, I'm not worried about too much. I think Justin Sternad, thank you. I think Riley Moss and Patrick Tan are going to be fine. Brandon Jones and, of course, Hufanga are going to be fine. It's not them that I'm worried about. It's the other people behind them that I'm worried about, especially if one of our boys needs a breather, if one of them, gets roughed up a little bit and they have to come out and, get looked at in the medical tent, that type of thing. So having our number twos and our threes out later in the game are definitely going to be very crucial to say, hey, look, we might have something here, because it is easy to manage 90 something players. But again, as we get closer to the end of the month, when it's time to whittle it down to 53, that's when it's like tough decisions have to be made. How many running backs are going to make it? How many wide receivers? How many linebackers? And every single position gets questioned. Now, I don't doubt Vance Joseph's ability in terms of, even with twos and threes out there to put pressure on the quarterback. That's never been my issue with him. Hell, the Broncos last year were very close to beating that sack record, and they got there kind of quick early on in the season, if I'm being honest. So it's more the secondary. Libre and I have talked about in previous episodes where sometimes we feel like his man coverage, he gives away a little bit too much space instead of, sticking to their defenders. And it's not that Riley Moss or PS2 can't handle that type of situation. It's just that they're just, doing as they're told. So hopefully Vance Joseph can kind of work around that, let them know like, hey, when the play is stick to your receiver, stick to your receiver. Quarterbacks are already afraid to throw PS2's direction, and they've challenged Riley Moss a whole lot 2 years ago. Last year, they were so-and-so, and Riley Moss did keep the laundry away, even though half of those calls on Riley Moss were a bunch of crap. So, but I'm really excited to see what that pass rush, those twos and threes, what they can bring to the table in this preseason.
So talking about the linebacker position and talking about those twos and threes, this is one thing that me and George talked about while we were at training camp on the first Saturday, the back together weekend, and just watching our Mr. Irrelevant, Red Murdoch, and Travion York. Watching those guys, we're saying, dang, look at how fast these guys are. Look at how they're just going from sideline to sideline. And to be able to see those guys and then what they were able to do during practice, George said it best. He goes, man, we're watching our future right now. This is the future of the Broncos linebacker core, and we're not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. They look good, and just wait until like when we're ready to make that decision for them to be the starters at whatever point, if it is 2-3 years down the road. But we're not going to be in a bad situation. So let me tell you, the Broncos did a great job on getting these guys in here. And granted, yes, I lost rock, paper, scissors to York, but I'm going on Monday hoping I can get my rematch against him.
I will say, though, as D-Rock says here, word on the streets, Uwazurike is going to murk the opposition this season. Just saying.
Just saying. Hey, word on the streets right there. What street is that there in LA, D-Rock? Tell me.
The beautiful thing about this Libre is that even if the Broncos have some questionable players or positions, they will have a flurry of players to choose from once roster cuts start. So even if we don't have the correct answer at a certain position in these next 3 weeks, they'll definitely be looking at tape at other plays, at other players, and say, hey, if so-and-so doesn't want this guy, we should probably, give him a call, make a roster spot for him, that type of thing. So hopefully it doesn't have to always come to that a lot, but again, when you start going into your threes and in some cases fours, Libre, it's like you're really trying to find a diamond in the rough in that regard. Hopefully our secondary is not in that position. I do think if there was a position where they might have to look elsewhere, Libre, it would probably be the tight end position, because I still think we don't have our definite answer at tight end. I know Caleb Lautner is supposed to come back, and he had a not very good preseason last time he was out on the field, and they're really hoping to see some more out of this kid, and hopefully he does shine. But I wouldn't be surprised, especially with Davis Webb supposedly running the offense now, that you need somebody to kind of take the pressure off of Evan Ingram, and you can't expect him to go out there and be number one all the time like last year. So last year, I know there was a lot of hype around Evan Ingram, and obviously it was a big letdown. But when he's the only tight end out there, nothing against Atkins and the anybody behind him, but it wasn't anywhere near where like, hey, if you don't guard him, he's going to make you pay. It wasn't like having Trey McBride or George Kittle out there. So hopefully this is an area where the Broncos can, expand out and find and show the world that if you don't guard our tight ends, they will make you pay for it.
So just so we have 8 tight ends right now on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, Evan Ingram is number 1. Then you have Troutman, Atkins, and then you have Lucas Kroll, and then you have Caleb Lohner. And then we have our 2 draft picks from this year, Justin Jolly and Dallin Bentley. And then there's Adam Prentice there at the end. They have him listed as number 8. But let me tell you, watching Jolly at practice, he could be that guy. He might be replacing Evan Ingram after this year as being the number 1 tight end because of his size, because he has that range. He's younger, and all that. But let me tell you, from seeing him in practice, he looks good. Jolly looks good. And I think that with Davis Webb being able to play call and do it properly for him, like he could be that next good tight end and being the number 1 tight end on this team.
Ooh, I forgot all about Jolly.
Yeah. The only reason why I bring it up is because I saw him like in practice, being able to see him go out there, make some of those catches and whatnot. So that's something that makes it a little bit easier for me to see some of this stuff now, because, with people who are able to see them in person, they see that and whatnot. And again, I just like me and George were talking about it, and also with Tim, we're watching a specific group for certain different plays and just looking at certain players like, all right, what are we seeing there? And of course, there was that time when I looked at Jolly and he made a spectacular touchdown catch. So I can't wait to see what he's going to be able to do during the season itself. And with him and Bo, I feel like they're going to have a great connection. There we go. I like it, Tiz. Look at there. The Jolly Orange Giant.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get a little head early start on our segment, which is when we reach the end of regulation. It is now time for Broncos overtime. Let's go.
Let's go.
And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. This is Broncos Talk Overtime. This is the part of the show where Libre and I let down our hair figuratively and talk about anything and all things going on in our lives. Doesn't always have to be specifically related to Broncos football, but if there's a way we can bring it back, we definitely will. Tiz, I know you asked about covering the uniform schedule release. We definitely will do that. But first, I want to talk about something that I saw that was just disrespectful. So if you guys play Madden like I do, not religiously, of course, but I play for fun. They released their players that are going to be, their overalls and, the top 10 players and all that. So the Broncos were not favored in every single category. But the one category that really ticked me off was the linebacker position. They didn't have Sternad or Alex Singleton as a top 10 linebacker in football, but they had Dre Greenlaw. So I damn near fell over my chair.
That makes sense. He didn't even play that much.
Exactly. That man spent more time hurt collecting a paycheck than somebody collecting unemployment. It made no damn sense to me. And then they had Greenlaw on Good Morning Football or one of those football shows at the 49ers training camp. And he was just he didn't say it directly, but he was taking almost subtle jabs at how the Broncos, do practice and how it's tough to play there and the altitude. And it's kind of like, it really pissed me off because when Dre Greenlaw signed that contract, he made it sound like getting out of San Francisco was the best move he ever made. And of course, playing for the Broncos and playing for a different team, and every team runs their show differently. There's 32 teams that practice every single damn day, and they do things differently. They run plays differently. They run offenses differently, special teams, defenses, all that jazz. And the fact that he went out there and complained that the Broncos defense practice and all that is tough, but yet the Broncos led in most sacks last year and were second best defense, according to whoever you want to ask, behind the Houston Texans pass rush, is anything short of incredible. But for him to go out there and talk all that smack, especially when he didn't hardly play because of a hamstring that Sean Payton downplayed every single week, and it's like, well, he's going to be ready by week 1. Then it was week 2. Then it was maybe week 3. And then he went on short-term IR, and then he didn't come back until gosh darn mid-season. And then he got suspended again because supposedly he hit a ref or said something to a ref after that comeback game against the Giants. So It's like, and when he did play Libre, it wasn't anything like we saw out of Hufanga. We talked about this before. Hufanga was worth every damn penny. Greenlaw played like he was afraid to hit somebody or to get hurt. And that to me was not cool. I know we felt some kind of way during the offseason when we saw Dre Greenlaw get cut Libre, but it wasn't anything like we felt when Von Miller got traded. It was kind of like, yeah, it sucks, it hurt, but then we thought about it. It's like, you know what? The Broncos are on the hook for one more year. And I guarantee you the 49ers are not going to pay that man anywhere near what the Broncos did. If they give him a contract, it's going to be less than what he was making before he left and nowhere near from what Denver gave him.
I can't remember what they gave him, like, because they signed him right away, right after we cut him, let him go back on March, but it couldn't go official until June 1st, which it went official. I just don't remember his contract or whatever and what he signed with them with on that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I like continue to do this. Madden, the national narrative, everyone disrespecting the Broncos. But let me tell you though, the Broncos are going to shock people still. And that's what I love about this, that they don't believe in this team like Broncos country does. Like we see them day in and day out. The national narrative don't see the Broncos that way. They're in the bigger markets. They're like in the Californias. They're in the East Coast. They're not here in the mountain time zone area. So because of that, they don't like to spend a lot of time or researching the stuff with the Broncos itself. So what I love is going to be that the Broncos are going to show up. They're going to say, oh my God, where did this come from? Yes, we had 13 games that we had to come back and win last year. But you know what? We're going to actually dominate this year. I think just thinking about it, and people have already come up and said this, that the 2013 team was a high power, high scoring team that was ever out there in the NFL. And I think that this team here this year can match what they were doing, if not even do better. And that's saying a lot. And that's going to be high production. And because of, yes, Jalen Waddle is a huge addition to what we needed for our offense. So, and then we have the three-headed monsters right now, that what I'm saying as our running back core is that these guys are going to put up points. They're going to be scoring, and teams are not going to know how to stop us, because now we're no longer one-dimensional. We're going to be like, what are you throwing at us next? We're going to have them guessing, and that's the best part.
I wholeheartedly agree. So I don't see anywhere near what they did. I feel like that was a giant disrespect and a slap in the face to our two linebackers. And hopefully they change that as the rankings change throughout the season. And the 49ers mid linebacker core just flops, because that's where I think it's going to go. It's going to flop. Nothing against Fred Warner. I know he's coming back from an injury, but you got Fred Warner coming back from a big injury, and you got Dre Greenlaw, who can't not stay healthy for an entire season. And you're expecting them to play 17 healthy games.
Yeah.
Like, what did Shannon Sharp say? If you're still as healthy at the end of the season like you were at the beginning, you're not playing hard enough.
You're not playing hard enough. Exactly. Big shout out right there to Uncle Todd. Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming in. No, but you're right.
Thank you so much for being here. And then before I forget about Bronco Tiz's question, Libre, our uniform schedule, as you see right here, hopefully you guys can see that just fine. You know, it's like we're getting 2 throwback games, Libre, which is just beautiful.
So I think that's what they're allowing now. Like they're doing a little bit more, because they had this rule with the CBA. I think it was really what to do with the CBA. Or just Roger Goodell just saying you can only do so many games like this. But I like what they're being able to do, where yes, we have 2 throwback games, and one of them is going to be a classic, iconic game because of the Seahawks coming back into Denver for that Thursday night game. If a lot of you don't know this, but the Seahawks used to be in the AFC West. Now they're in the NFC West, but they used to be in the AFC West. So the battles that these two teams had, the history that these two teams have, that a lot of people really don't know, but being able to actually see that, because I remember back in the 80s and 90s, me being able to watch this game and seeing that was part of it being the best. And now for this year, for that Thursday night game, the whole country is going to be able to see that. To start off week 6 itself, being able to see that, let me tell you, these probably are one of the 2 best old style, throwback jerseys out there. So I'm super excited for that. And again, we have the Chargers, last game of the season. I kind of feel like they just threw that out there for it, but you know what? I'm still happy with it, because I'm gonna still be there back in January for it. And of course, go ahead.
Not to cut you off, Libra. I'm sorry. Not that I don't hate this schedule, Libra, but the only thing I was hoping for like a throwback away uniform. Don't get me wrong, love the midnight navies and of course our sunset orange and 2 throwbacks. But the all white is good. I was hoping for at least one where maybe they maybe not the color rush Libre, because I don't think a lot of people were big fans of the color rush per se. But
it was just like an homage to this is when we still had the blue jerseys before we switched over to the sunset orange itself. So that was really to throw back as a color rush to add in an orange jersey back in to the mix of our jersey selection. I think that's what during that era, that's why that jersey came out. But I think kind of what replaced it would be the all navy, the whole all blue. The midnight blues. But let me tell you, with this new jersey itself, like you're like, with the new jersey setup that we just recently got, I think people like, especially the players, I think they like the all blue itself. But you have to think about it. Look at the games that they selected for these games. One's a Sunday night game. It only makes sense. Like we're going to be a pitch black on that Sunday night game versus the Rams. And then they picked the Christmas Day game, so the Christmas afternoon game against the Bills. So I think it's just to throw it out there because everyone's going to be eyes on that game. That's the only game that's playing at that time, so that's why they're doing that as well.
Libre, I'll be right back. Give me 5 minutes, okay?
Jeez, this guy just wants to leave on me. Go ahead. So let's see. Talking about D-Rock here. The fellas outside of the foosball, what's your all's best what is it? Hater team and why? Well, of course, mine is always going to be the Raiders, no matter what, just because of how annoying these fans are. Just because they think that their team is always good, no matter what. And it's just because of what they did. What is the last time they've actually done anything? Their last Super Bowl was 84, something like that, 83, something like that. So it's been a long time. I have a friend on TikTok saying, Brock, he says that mask is hard. Let's go. Yeah, there you go. Hater of the Raiders. You have to be that. It's like one of the things, like I can't know where it's at right now, but on I left it at work. But on one of my cups, I have a logo that says Raider Hater itself. So, but again, I think that is the most hated team, especially for us as Bronco fans. A lot of people want to say that it's KC, but it's truly the Raider fans because it really comes to their fandom itself. It's because they think they're always good. They're always going to be better than anybody, even though the last several years they think Mendoza is the answer. But again, Kirk Cousins is going to be starting quarterback this year. It might change halfway through the season where Mendoza might be playing. They're like, all right, we're getting rid of Cousins. But again, why would the team go out there and sign Cousins to a multi-year deal, and the amount of money that they give him that they're just going to replace him right away? It could be a possibility. They might be doing what the Broncos did in Russell Wilson and cutting him and taking a big cut loss and that big cap hit itself. So that's going to be the team for me. I think Adam's going to say the Chiefs because his nephew's a Chiefs fan. So,
I mean, you could put the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Chargers on whatever on the top and just spin it. And regardless of which one it lands on, the answer's still the same. The hatred's still the same. We hate our AFC West rivals for the same reason that they hate us. And it's okay. That's what rivalries do to you guys. Again, I'll tell you the story if you guys haven't heard it, of when I went to Allegiant Stadium 2 years ago, week 18, for my birthday. And as we were filing in, I kid you not, they separated us. Broncos fans Raiders fans on the left, Broncos fans on the right. And it was like herding sheep. And at first we were walking, we weren't saying anything. And then all of a sudden somebody shouted out, Denver sucks. And then we were like, Las Vegas sucks. A couple of Broncos fans are old school, accidentally said Oakland sucks. So we were talking smack as we were walking into the stadium for like 5 whole minutes. And mind you, the one thing that I loved about this, Libre, is the fact that this was a game that was meaningless for both teams. The Raiders had absolutely nothing. They were already out of the playoffs. The Broncos were out of the playoffs. And this was like an early 2024 preseason game. And it was just, but the fans, you could not tell because the fans were so into it, and this was the game where Sean Payton promised that Jarrett Stidham was going to go out there and light up Las Vegas. And, even though you could tell that most of the even though the ones played, their heart was not really in it. And that sucked. And the fact that Jarrett Stidham he tried, but he could not do anything in terms of getting close to getting a win outside of I think Jerry Jeudy was our only scoring touchdown that game. And I still have a picture that I took from my phone from the nosebleeds, and I zoomed in all the way on Russell Wilson, fully suited up with the helmet on and everything, like he was going to go out there the next play. And I knew that was the last time we were going to see him as a Bronco. I absolutely knew it. Because because of everything that went down with his contract negotiations and the disconnection and, just bad blood brewing behind the scenes, it was just kind of like, I don't know. I really didn't know what was going to happen, but I was pretty sure that was the last time that we would all see Russell Wilson in a Broncos uniform. And the fact that he was going to go down is probably one of the worst traded players, free agency traded players in the history of the NFL in terms of cost. Lucky for him, Deshaun Watson currently is the reigning king in that category, but Russell Wilson is definitely a close second. I will say that the throwbacks I absolutely love. I'm kind of sad that the second one isn't until the very end of the season against the Chargers, so that means that we're going to have to wait literally until next year to see the Broncos wear their throwbacks again. So even though that does suck, the fact that we do get it against the Seattle game, and as Libre mentioned, it is a throwback game. So, hopefully the Seahawks are also wearing their retro colors. So it's that would be a nice taste.
They will. They announced it on their Facebook and Twitter accounts that they are. That game is a throwback game. So it's going to be awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. That's even better. The only thing missing would probably be John Elway throwing a couple of passes in the uniform too.
Heck yeah. He'll probably be in there as well.
I hope he's there.
I just had somebody in my comments here on TikTok. His name is JC. And of course, when we're talking about the teams that we hate and all that, and he just goes, Raiders. And I followed it by suck. That's right. I said it again, JC. Raiders suck. Again.
Now, the other question I did want to ask you, Libre, is when you go to the preseason games and there's tailgating, do you see any difference in terms of Broncos fans? Is the energy not as high during a regular game just for the simple fact that it's a preseason? Or do fans are like, hey, Broncos football is back, woo, 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 the energy's up, let's go Broncos, let's go out there and get a win?
So tailgating is a little bit different. It's not like the super hype that you're seeing because you're about to go see like how we talk about second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth stringers or whatever. So the hype is not all there. The energy is not as high that it's going to be like when we go to for the Jacksonville game. It's not going to have that type of energy. There's still people that go out there and do it up real good and whatnot. Me personally, I don't have my own tailgate during that time frame. I like to go out there, socialize, and go to the other games or to the other tailgates itself and just socialize, have fun, and do all that. But when it comes down to the season, like it's a whole different vibe. You're going to see this for this upcoming year that you come up for the KC game. You're going to see the different vibes that when you showed up last year or 2 years ago for the Carolina game to this one. It's going to be a completely different story, and you're like, dang, how come I didn't go to some of these other tailgates before? So it's going to be you'll see the difference itself in general. Yes, we're excited that football's back and we're ready to go, but the intensity and all that, it's not the same as during the regular season.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I've been to the last preseason Broncos game I was at was when they came to Chicago. And even though like there weren't any real tailgates, like the Broncos fans we were all hyped, and this was back when they had just acquired Trubisky, if I'm not mistaken. So that's how long ago it was since the last time I did that. Because I remember I was seeing Trubisky out there slinging passes for the preseason when it was supposed to be Mark Glennon. So this was what, Libre, 2017, I think? 2017, I think, is when they drafted Trubisky. So I just wanted to see if the energy was the same. I think that it varies, to be honest with you, Libre. I think it varies between people because there are diehard football fans like you and me, and then there are people that are just like bandwagon fans, and then there are people that are just starting to get into the sport. And as you've seen in social media rounds, a lot of people do not care for preseason. They're like, hey, just skip this part, get to the real thing. And that's why you probably won't see them tune in or comment or do anything of that sort unless something big happens, Libre. But as we saw in the Hall of Fame game last week, it was really it was probably one of the most exciting Hall of Fame games I've seen in a while. Where
I was just gonna say that because every year, and that's what sucks about every game to start off the year. Yes, it's a bad game. It's going to be terrible. Nobody really wants to watch it, but it's football. Everyone's watching because football is officially back. And it's just historically has always been a terrible game. This year, though, I was on with the Mile High Outcast last week during the game on the show, but I had the game on. I was able to watch, just glance over a little bit every so often. But let me tell you, that game coming through, the excitement, the back and forth, going to the very last minute of the game for them to win that game, for the Panthers to come back and win that game. And I thought they lost that game after Arizona went and scored that late touchdown with 2 minutes to go. I was like, oh, Arizona won it. They're the goods and whatever. But then seeing them rush down get the ball down the field and score late, I was like, dang, this is a freaking good game. If this is just a foreshadowing of what this season's going to be, we're going to be in for a fantastic season for NFL fans across the country. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, I will admit I took it for granted. I thought it was going to be because the last couple of years, it's like, while I don't mind hearing from the people that, were enshrined or, some of the favorite players that just happen to be there that get interviewed, I always felt like they took a lot out of the game because you would always see them there in the interviews, and while the interviews and stuff are great, it kind of took away from the actual teams playing, if that makes sense. But I think this year, because of the slugfest that they went back and just the fact that the crowd was in it, and if you took away the time and the date on it, you told people like this was an actual sanctioned NFL game, they would believe it. There was even somebody that compared it to that Rams and Chiefs game where they went up to, remember, Libre, where it was Goff versus Ram, and it was one of the most back-to-back NFL games of all times. That's what people compared it. Even though it was a meaningless game, you could not convince that to those players because those players took it to the limit. The coaching staff took it to the limit. And it was a really entertaining game. I got to give them that.
No, absolutely. And that's something that as a fan, you just have to appreciate. And I love it.
D-Rock, I got another question for you, Libre. If a fruit fly lands in your lap, would you try to hit it? Don't ask me. Oh, the pain.
Hey, where on the leg? Is it more towards the knee? Is it closer up, close to the groin? Because every time I see a fruit fly, I'm waiting for it to fly, and then I'm just like getting it out of the air.
You're supposed to do the Mr. Miyagi thing where you catch it with
the chopsticks.
Yeah.
No, this is why I have scissors.
Where it's like chop, 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 chop.
That's funny.
But I again, most Latinos, they try to smash everything because I don't think you can not walk into a Latino household and they don't have a fly swatter somewhere.
Matamoscas. Like, call it right. Call it what it's called. Yeah.
And well, if you have money, you have a matamoscas. If you don't have money, then you grab a magazine or a newspaper. You roll that bad boy up and go to town, and you turn yourself into a fly swatting machine. He says McNuggets. McNuggets. I don't get it, Libre. Is he hungry?
He has to be, right?
I'm more of a Big Mac type of guy, but
what I like about the McDonald's app, you get enough points. At 6,000 points, you get a free Big Mac. Just so you're aware.
Mm-hmm. Or whenever you get your receipt, if you take that like 2-minute survey, you get a free burger.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost you any points or anything. All you got to do is just, I think you got to sign it. It gives you a code. You use the code, you take the survey, and it's like, all right, next time you go, if you buy like a quarter pounder, you get another one free, or a Big Mac, you get another one free. So it's not a bad deal. You know, although technically their deals app kind of has that for free sometimes, but it varies because they change the deals all the time. You know, but I still stand on business when I say McDonald's has the best tasting fries out of anyone.
Bar none, bro. Bar
Hands down. Way better than Burger King. I don't want to hear it. But again, the only thing I will say, and you guys have heard me say it before, my heart belongs to In-N-Out, and I hate that Libre can go to an In-N-Out in like 10 minutes. And
well, it takes me 15. It takes me 15 minutes to get to the one closest to my house, but I'll take it. But my thing as well, like especially with In-N-Out, is like for me, I have to eat it there because of the drive. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to take it home. I've done that once. I'm like, I can't do this because by the time I get home, it's already cold.
Like, it doesn't taste the same, Libre.
No, it doesn't. You have to have it when they call your number and it's fresh. So good.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Mexican food. There's my favorite Mexican restaurant that I love going to, but it's like 25 minutes away. And it's like one time I brought the torta with me back home, and by the time I got it home, it wasn't like hot, like when you get it at your table. It was like kind of like lukewarm, and the salsa that I put on it it wasn't the same because it wasn't in the bottle. It was in the little cups. And it wasn't enough to cover the whole torta because the restaurant I go to, their specialty or their gimmick is they sell like really big portions. And this torta is like the size of my hand, a little bit bigger, actually. It's like half of it. So it's like two of my hands like this for comparison. It is that big. So from this tip all the way to this tip, that's how big that torta is. And it's like this
God
big.
Dang.
Yeah, it's like a super torta. And I go there once or twice every year for my birthday, or if I'm in the neighborhood while I'm doing Uber, and it's like, hey, I need to eat.
I'm hungry, he says. He goes, I'm hungry.
And I will definitely agree with this statement, Libre. The Mexican food on the East Coast sucks. When I was in New York City, there was not a single authentic Mexican restaurant, mind you. Not that crappy Taco Bell or Chipotle. That is not authentic Mexican food. So please stop letting people convince you and telling you that. We had to go across the bridge to an actual authentic Mexican restaurant in New Jersey to eat Mexican food. And it was pretty decent. It wasn't like the best we ever had, but it was like, that's just terrible, Libre, that in all of downtown New York, Times Square, there wasn't an authentic Mexican restaurant there. was really
I can see what you're
heartbreaking.
saying, but you have to remember, forget about it. It's about the Italianos, you know. So and that's what's there. You have to know what's around.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they have the
Well,
pizzas.
yeah, we never had any issue finding the pizza. That's for damn sure. And again, I still say sorry, TikTok chat, but Chicago pizza is the best pizza in the country.
I have a Giordano's here in downtown Denver, and it sucks.
Hey, that's because it's not in Chicago.
You know, one place when I was in Chicago that I went to was Luminati's.
Illuminati's is good.
Yeah, so that was pretty good. I had pizza there when I was there. I was like, okay, this is actually some good pizza.
And I just remembered I went to the Giordano's. This is the one down the street from your job, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said it.
You're nuts, bro. Me and my nephew ate there before we left. It was a nice taste of home.
Well, they wanted to send you off with a good note here of Denver, bro. When you got ripped off at the parking lot.
They did. Oh man. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for our show today. Libre and I would like to say thank you to everybody in our chat. D-Rock. I'm going to try to go up the list quick as I can. Bronco Tiz, of course. Michael Benger, who is Beavis. Bronco Beavis. Todd Borrego. The whole Borrego family at that. Who am I forgetting? Tim Dog. Thank you so much for stopping by.
We have Yaya, Boo Boo.
Yeah, the Bronco Libre support squad. Thank you guys so much for being here for Bronco Libre. He appreciates you guys very, very much. And also thank you to our TikTok chat. I see a lot of people liking the live. I do appreciate you guys liking it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for the likes. 5.2 thousand likes on TikTok for a Broncos Talk podcast. I think that's the most I've ever gotten.
Yes, sir. I like it.
I'm not Bronco Libre famous, but damn it, I'll take it. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we head on out of here, just a quick reminder, if you can subscribe, share, comment, and like on this and all of our previous videos here on the Orange and Blue Network on YouTube, your support is very much greatly appreciated. Help us spread the word to all of Broncos country that we are here and we are here to stay. Also, if there's something you heard us say that you agree or don't agree with and you weren't able to join us here on the live, it's no problem. Just leave a comment on the bottom and we will respond to you accordingly. For any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. If you'd like to follow us on our socials are right there at the bottom of the screen. Mine is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280. Libre and I would also like to say thank you to our sponsors. Dubby, if you use the code OBN10, you get 10% off your order at checkout. Shout out to Dubby for being a continued sponsor of this and all of the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network. Also, quick thanks to Lily's Beauty Salon. If you'd like to get schedule an appointment to look your very best, just call 720-210-7996. Appointments only. She's located at 11776 Kearney Way in Thornton, Colorado, area code 80233. Her business hours are Monday through Tuesday. She's closed, but Wednesdays through Saturday, they're open from 9:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. and Sundays from 9:30 a.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. Shout out to Lily's for being a continued sponsor of this and all the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network as well. And just a quick reminder, guys, we are doing a giveaway alert. When the Orange and Blue Network reaches 1,000 subs on YouTube, they will be giving out a signed Nick Bonito mini helmet. And all you have to do if you want to win it is follow us on YouTube and have your YouTube profile set to public. If it is set on private, you will not be eligible to win because they will not have any way of contacting you if you are the chosen winner. So again, all you got to do if you want to win a signed Nick Bonito mini helmet is follow us on YouTube and make your profile private. And when the network reaches 1,000 subs, you will automatically be entered for a chance to win that signed mini helmet. I am telling you guys, me and Libre are so jealous that we cannot participate, but I envy whoever does get to walk away with that mini helmet.
Well, I'm stealing it from Johnny. He just doesn't know yet.
So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, he's Bronco Libre. I'm Adan Diaz. This has been Broncos Talk here on the Orange and Blue Network. We will see you next week. Same Broncos time, same Broncos channel. Can't wait to talk to you guys about what we see in the first preseason game and what to expect for the second preseason game, which will be in Denver. So it'll be exciting to see Bronco Libre going back out there. And
I won't be at that game. Just so we're aware, we're talking about it now. I won't be at the Green Bay game this year.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. It's the third week game. Sorry.
Yeah. So versus the Vikings, I'll be at that game. But with the Green Bay game, George is going to be going in my replacement. So I got a good other fan that's taking my replacement to be in there. So maybe we can get George in on at that point to talk about the show for a little bit as well. So, George,
of course,
you hear me? You're going to have to come in and do a rundown after that game.
And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to head on out of here. So enjoy the rest of your day, evening, whenever it is you're watching. And as always, go Broncos!
Let's go.
Let's go.